Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is David, and if you're new here, hi, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about The Stand by Stephen King. This is the cut version of the book, which I'll be focusing on. In this video, there are two versions of this book, which most people won't even know of. Obviously, there was the cut version, which was published on the 3rd of October 1978. And as always, if you just see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes. And there is a uncut version of the book, which this is the version which you can buy in the stores now. Excuse me. Originally, so the reason why there's two versions of The Stand, they're both exactly the same story, but obviously the uncut version has got more content in it. It is split up into three books, which are called Captain Trips, On the Border, and the last book is called The Stand. These are kind of like sub-books or subsections throughout the novel. It is the same in both versions. Also another difference is in the uncut version there is a introduction by King saying that why he's published the book twice. There is pictures in it, and there's also a kind of a prologue at the beginning that wasn't at the start of the cut version. The reason why, and there's also, as I said, there are pictures in this book. Just try to find one for you. There we go. So there we go. There isn't any pictures in the cut version, so be aware about that. But they aren't everywhere in the book. There are only probably about 10 pictures in the book in total, maybe 12. But the reason why there are two versions of the book is that also there are, obviously it does focus on a lot on the characters in this book, because there are about 400 pages more in this version than is in the cut version. So it does focus on a lot on characters. There is a character in this which is completely removed from the cut version, which is called the Kid, which is this kind of a Mad Max type of guy who rides around in the desert in a customs car, and he interacts with trash can men, who I'll explain in a minute. And but he isn't on the side of good. He isn't on the side of evil. He just wants to be in between. He just wants to exist. It is a bit warm today, guys, so apologies for that. But so the Kid isn't mentioned at all in the cut version, but there is a character or a scene focusing on a man called the Wolf Man, who is lying in a car dead with a wolf on his lap. That could be the Kid, but you won't really pick it up unless you've read the uncut version and then read this one. But it's not really important. Also the uncut version was published on the 1990. Sorry about that. I can't really find an exact date, but if you know the exact date and also the exact number of pages that were cut from this book, please let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, before I get into my video, I just want to say that this is going to be a spoiler-free video, and as always, this is going to be my own thoughts and opinions regarding this book. This is my favourite book that I've ever read since 2017, since I've started reading on a regular basis. I got this one a couple of Christmases ago. My brother got it for me, and yeah, I love this book so much. But as I said, I'll be focusing on the cut version for this video. So, what's the story of The Stand? The Stand, the genre of this book is a post-apocalyptic novel, and it focuses on a virus that has been set out on the population of the planet Earth. This is set in the real world, not a fantasy version or a parallel version of the Earth. It is set in the United States of America, and as I said, it is focusing on a virus that is referred to as a super flu. And it's been named by people. It's got a name called Captain Trips. People are referring to Captain Trips and making comparisons in this on YouTube from the comparisons on Captain Trips and the coronavirus. Trust me, Captain Trips is a lot worse. Anyone that gets the virus in the anyone that gets the Captain Trips virus gets colds. They cough up all the time. They don't feel that great, and they're pretty much dead in a few days. And throughout the whole novel, throughout the whole world, pretty much the whole population of the planet is dead in the matter of a week or two. There isn't any cure. No one knows why or how this has happened, and they can't stop it basically. And it just leaves. So when it's all over, we find out that there are people that are immune to this virus. They cannot get Captain Trips, even if they come into direct contact with the virus. They cannot get infected, and no one knows why or how they can do this. So when Captain Trips is done, there's only about 1% of the population that is left over, and that's worldwide. It's not just over in America. So we find out that there are two sides of this story that are led by good and evil. The good side that is led by Mother Abigail, who is an old woman. She's an old black woman. Living in Nebraska. She's sitting on her porch and she's playing her banjo all the time, or a guitar rather. She's extremely religious. She is extremely into Jesus and God and all that type of stuff. She is a real life person, but I'm pretty sure she does have The Shining, because when I was reading the book for a second time, it does mention The Shining, but only briefly, only in a sentence or two. It's something that you can easily overlook, or that's a nice thing. So I believe that she does have The Shining, but a kind of a unique perspective, or a unique shine that allows her the ability to interact with people in their dreams. And as the story progresses, we find out that she's interacting with all these different people, and I'll just name all the a handful of them. One is called Stuart Redmond, or Stu, who is working at a petrol station. Who one day, when he's working there, he finds out that he sees a car that's driving really, really crazy and madly, and crashes into one of these petrol pumps. And he and his group of friends go off and investigate and try to find out what's happened. And he finds this guy that's dying and doesn't look that great, and coughing, and he doesn't look that great. And we find out that his wife and his baby are in the car dead. The baby's on the woman's lap and they're dead. And they don't know what's happened. They don't know about Captain Trips at all at this point. And that's how Captain Trips gets out to the public. And in the novel, it does have a chapter or two where it focuses on how the virus was spread, about how, this person went to this cinema and they infected this person, and that person from that cinema went to the supermarket afterwards and infected this family, and that family went to a theme park and infected pretty much that whole population that went there. That's how it kind of explains about how that type of stuff happens. Stu is put into this laboratory where he's been experimented on, and he's in this sealed room, and he's basically a guinea pig. And all these people that may have been infected, they have been put into this laboratory. And Stu happens to be one of the people that are immune to this virus, and he escapes ultimately from this facility. And also, at first, all these characters have their own chapters dedicated to them. At first, all these chapters are focusing on one character at a time. But as the story progresses, they come together, and all these chapters are focusing on situations where all these characters that come together are like doing stuff. If that makes sense. One of the other characters is called Frances Goldsmith, who is called Franny or Fran. she has a boyfriend called Jess, who she's pregnant by. Jess is only in one scene or one chapter, and he's never mentioned ever again, we never really see him ever again. He's mentioned a couple of times throughout the story, but he's not really a main character, so don't get used to him. He's an okay guy, but we'd never really find out much about him. We find out that Franny is living with her dad. She's very much a daddy's girl, and we find out that there's a guy called Harold Lauda, who is a overweight guy, same age as Franny, and he has all these pimples on his face, and he's not popular at school at all. He does get beaten up a lot, and he does have a crush on Franny, and he does find her extremely attractive, and he wants basically to be Franny's boyfriend. And when the super flu or Captain Trips is set up on the planet Earth, and pretty much everyone that gets it falls down dead, and they're lying in the streets dead, and they are sitting in their cars dead, and pretty much in their offices and the shops, pretty much anywhere that they would have been in their day-to-day life, they are lying down dead. And there isn't any organisation that's going around that's getting rid of all these bodies. They're just lying down dead. No one's getting rid of them. No one's burying them. They're just out there in the wide world, rotting in the sun. And so all that stuff is not really mentioned throughout the whole book. Maybe about the first third of the book is focusing on that, and then throughout the whole rest of the novel, everyone's dead, and it's just about the survivors existing and trying to carry on and trying to defeat the evil Dark Man, which I'll refer to in a minute. The another character is called Nick Andros, who is a blind and deaf person, or a deaf mute. He cannot speak, and he cannot hear. But in his dreams, he can hear and he can talk when he's dreaming of Mother Abigail, when he's interacting in dreams, making it sound like the third Nightmare before. I mean, the third Nightmare on Elm Street film, But Nick is a very enduring character. As I said, he cannot speak and he cannot hear, so he has a notepad on him at all times, and he uses it to write down notes, and he uses it to communicate with people. He can read lips, so that's another thing as well. And he does. And when Captain Trips has actually done its business, Nick does come across a character which I'm absolutely a fan of, and I really enjoyed this character. His name is called Tom Cullen. Tom is a very big, tall, muscly type of character, and he in the book he is referred to as being a retard. He's extremely creative though. He creates all these like models and scenes, and pretty much like a Pee-wee type of character. He does have a really big imagination, and he is a creative person, as I already said. He says laws yes and laws no all the time, and he does say M-O-O-N, that spells Nick Andros, or M-O-O-N, that spells a stand, or whatever. You get the point with that. But Tom isn't a stupid person. He's very slow. He does take some time to process type of some information. So Nick and Tom are very close friends with each other. They are together throughout the whole, not romantically, but they are best friends for a big chunk of the story. And Larry Underwood is a magician, or a musician rather. He is a singer. He has a song in this story, which is called "Baby, Can You Dig Your Man," which is referred to in the book on several occasions, but it's not really rammed down your throat all the time. Larry is a very selfish person at first. He goes to parties all the time. He does get drunk. He does have sex with women, and he does get wasted all the time. He does have a mum who he is very protective over, and his mum likes Larry. She tolerates him, and all that. Same with but I mean, don't get too used with don't get too attached to Larry's mum, because like Franny's dad, we won't be following their characters for much longer. So keep that in mind, guys. So during Captain Trips, Larry is going around New York City, and he comes across a woman called Rita, who is addicted to taking pain tablets or some sort of drug tablets. I don't know whether they are drugs or whether they're just plain old pain-killing tablets. I'm pretty sure they're painkillers, and she is always taking them, and they are just trying to get out of New York City and just trying to go to see Mother Abigail. But again, something happens to Rita, and Larry has to basically leave her. And then we find out that Larry is being followed by a woman called Nadine Cross, who is Nadine is a very intriguing type of character. She does change a lot throughout the story. She does go to the side of evil, so you can see that there's something not wrong with, there's something not quite right with Nadine, as well as Harold as well. Larry is trying to follow Harold's, because Larry holds up a very high. He actually really respects Harold as a person, because they're trying to follow behind them and trying to, basically meet up, even though they've never met. But Nadine is with a little boy called Leo or Joe. I'm not sure what name exactly, but because he changes his name as the story progresses. But I'll refer to him as Leo. He is he is feral. He doesn't talk at all. Pretty sure he's in his shorts or his underwear all the time. He doesn't talk, as I said. He does carry a knife around with him, and he's basically a feral type of person. He's very protective over Nadine. He actually refers to Nadine as Nadine Mum. And when he meets Larry, or when him and Nadine come across Larry, Leo is very protective over Nadine, and he tries to stab Larry with the knife and try to get rid of him. But as the story progresses, we find out that Leo is very intrigued by watching and hearing Larry playing his guitar, and he goes off and tries to practice with it, and he gets better as well on the guitar. And ultimately, he does open up a lot. He does talk. He does get back to his normal, everyday self before Captain Trips happens, and he does remember his real name. And we find out that Larry also falls in love with a woman called Lucy Swan, who so Larry, Lucy, and Leo are a family unit together. There is so when it happens, we find out that Nadine is kind of pushed aside. We don't really hear much from Nadine until the very end, so not sure where she went. I'm pretty sure she's mentioned a lot more in the uncut version as well. This is the first time I've ever read the cut version. I've read both these versions once. So I've read this one once and I've read this one once. I will probably, every time I reread this book, I'll probably just read the uncut version, get the whole experience. But anyway, that's the side of good and the side of evil as well, because everyone in this world has either dreams of one of these characters or both of them. And the figure to the evil side, or the dark side, or whatever, is called Randall Flagg. Randall isn't Satan. He isn't the devil, but it is implied that he may be friends with the devil or Satan. He may be friends with him. Randall, unlike Mother Abigail, Randall isn't human. He isn't a man. He has the ability to look like a man. He also has the ability to change into different animals, such as wolves and crows and weasels and insects and all that type of stuff. He is a magician. He is a conjurer. He It isn't like Harry Potter. He doesn't cast spells with a wand. He is a lot more than that. He is a very mischievous character. To quote Michael Caine from The Dark Knight, he just wants to watch the world burn. He wants to. He likes to mess with humanity and different cultures. He likes to set up a. He wants to set up a situation like an event and say like, right, if I start off this event, I'll just sit back and just watch all the fireworks. I'll watch all the people arguing with each other. I'll watch all the destruction, and I'll just sit back here with a smile on my face, and I'll just laugh and just watch and just admire. So that's pretty much what Randall Flagg is for me, anyway. Randall is a recurring villain in the Stephen King books. He is the main villain in the Eye of the Dragon, or the Eyes of the Dragon novel, which I'm going to hold up my hands and say that is a good book. So a lot of people don't like it. And it is the main villain, or one of the main villains in the Dark Tower series. So if you read The Stand and you want to know more about his character as well, I would read the Dark Tower books. Also the Dark Tower and The Stand do have connections with each other, even though they don't reference each other directly. But after you've read The Stand and the Dark Tower, or if you've read the Dark Tower and you read The Stand, you'll know basically what I actually mean. Because everyone in this world either has dreams, whether it's about Mother Abigail or whether it's about Randall Flagg, or one or the other, or both, and then they have to decide what side they want to go to, what side appeals to them more. So Randall goes by many names in the novel as well. He goes by the name of the Walking Dude, the Tall Man, and the Dark Man, as well as that's only a few. He is mentioned as being called Legion. I'm pretty sure Randall Flagg isn't his real name. We never really. I doubt that's his real name. It's probably something that he just made up. He is a very deep and interesting type of character. He does come across a evil character called Lloyd Henry, who is a bank robber who is in prison. He is locked up in a cell. Everyone is dead. All the prison guards are dead. All the prisoners are dead. And he's locked in a cage. Basically, he doesn't have any food, and he's going to die if he doesn't get out soon. And he's in there because he was locked up while everyone was obviously still alive, because he was doing some bank robbing and he killed some people with his mates. And then Randall Flagg basically comes out and says, look, if I let you out, you could be my right-hand man. It's going to be you and me against the world. And yeah. We also find out that there's a side character, so like a side evil character called the Rat Man, who is he's mentioned a lot, but he is a black man who is dressed up as a pirate. He does have a sword, and he refers to himself in the third person. He isn't in the book much, but yeah, he's an interesting type of character. And but my favourite character is a character called the Trash Can Man, or Trash, whose real name is called Donald Mervyn Albert, who we find out that as a kid he was obsessed with fires and explosions. He looked at fires and explosions as sort of orgasmic type of way. He was fascinated with fires, and he still is. And he set off fires in trash cans. That's how he got his name. He saw his dad being gunned down and killed by the sheriff of the town that he was living in, and his mother married that same sheriff. And we find out that Randall wants to have Trash on his side to ultimately get all these bombs and all these planes and tanks, and you get the idea, all this type of war stuff, so they can go off and bomb and kill all the people that are living in Boulder with Mother Abigail and on the side of good. So that's what they want to really do. So yeah, that's really it, really. Just about these people, these two fractions trying to coexist and try to rebuild society and get back to their normal lives, but they want to try to, because Mother Abigail's side wants to try and find out what Randall Flagg's doing, and basically Randall Flagg's side basically wants to kill Abigail's side. That's pretty much what it is. So yeah, likes everything in this book, characters, world, everything like that. Dislikes, nothing really. It wasn't, I didn't even dislike that. It was long. I wanted this book to be a lot longer. I wanted it to be 200 pages more. So I don't have any dislikes. I only have likes, which is pretty much the whole book. Closing thoughts, read it, whether it's the cut version or the uncut version. I would personally read the uncut version, but if you find the copy which happens to be the cut version, read this. If this is the version that you found already, but if you can only find the uncut version, read it. It's really good. It is long, but you don't have to read it all in one day. You can split it all up. You can read a chapter every day or whatever. Rating, do I have to really say 5 stars? So like, comment and subscribe, guys. Let me know in the comments down below if this has helped you out, trying to find out whether you want to read this book or not. And give it a thumbs up if you like this book, and subscribe if you want to. And yeah, let me just pick up my other book that I'm going to be reading for subscriber month, because I'm going to be finishing off the Clan of the Cave Bear soon. So the next book I'll be reading after Clan of the Cave Bear is The Martian. So I'm looking forward to that. So I will see you in my next video, guys. So stay safe, stay healthy, and keep reading. And apologies for this video for being so long. See you guys. Bye.